Business owners, you need to get the word out. Are you looking for brand exposure, business expansion, looking for new clients, hiring remotely for staff positions, or hiring new employees to open additional offices? Are you looking to advertise new projects, start business partnerships, or seeking new business opportunities? Do you need to highlight new upgrades, features, or products? Promote up-and-coming events, seminars, classes, or celebrate business anniversaries and achievements with the world? Now's the time to get your commercial featured on my show. Send me an email for package pricing, and let's grow and expand your business together.
How my journey began. It's graduation time. Family is very important to me, including my puppies. The Marine Corps played a huge role in my life and allowed me to be ambitious, inspiring, a mentor, and achieve all of my goals. As a financial expert, I've received multiple awards, done various events as a guest speaker all over the U.S. with my platform of creating healthy financial habits, along with having my own business, all leading up to my show. Come along for the journey.
Hello, Gems, and welcome. I have a special guest for our Thanksgiving Day show. As you are aware, I have been focusing on service members for the month of November, their careers, and what they're most thankful for. Our next branch of service will be the Navy. Before I introduce you to this phenomenal woman you see on the screen, let me tell you a little bit about the Navy. The Navy was established October 13, 1775. They have one integrated boot camp, recruit training command in Great Lakes, Illinois. 19% of the Navy are made up of females. The Navy has both medical and dental career opportunities for you. Speaking of career opportunities, there are 93 career choices for you to make should you make the Navy your next branch of service. Now, on to some very few fascinating facts. At least I find them fascinating. The Navy has 11 large nuclear-powered fleet carriers carrying around 80 jets and fighters. The USS Gerald Ford is a massive carrier with a length of 1,106 feet, or about the size of 3 football fields. Let that sink in. That's 3 football fields the length of, and can hold up to 4,660 personnel and 75 aircrafts. Now on to our featured guest. OSCS was born in Memphis, Tennessee, raised in Holly Springs, Mississippi. She has 19 years of honorable service in the Navy and has achieved the rank of OSCS, which I mentioned before, which stands for Operation Specialist Senior Chief Petty Officer, or the rank of E8. She currently is stationed in the beautiful sunny city of San Diego. OSCS Jones, thank you so much for being on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Want to tell a little bit about the Gems so they know this beautiful lady just didn't fall out of the skies. I've known her for just a few years now, and when I say she's a phenomenal woman, I do mean she's a phenomenal woman, not only in the Navy, but as a friend and her ability to mentor. So enough about me. Let's talk about her. So, who or what influenced you to join the Navy?
What influenced me to join the Navy was when I was in high school, my cousin and I, we were supposed to actually join the Navy on a buddy system. However, she was in a very bad car accident, and it caused her to be paralyzed from her chest down.
Wow.
And I went to college immediately after high school, but I felt like, you know what? No, I want to fulfill her dream as well as create a dream of my own. So that's why I joined the Navy. Yes. And I think she's proud of me right now.
Absolutely. So you joined the Navy, and how was your boot camp experience?
Then my boot camp experience was a little challenging when I was in boot camp. Mm-hmm. September 11th happened.
Right.
So a country girl from Mississippi, I was a little nervous of joining the military, but I was even more so concerned when 9/11 happened. But here I am today, almost 20 years later, and I still serve. But my overall experience in boot camp, I created a lot of friends, longtime friends, a lot of memories that I always have.
Definitely. So has the Navy allowed you to be financially stable?
Yes, the Navy has definitely allowed me to be financially stable for the simple fact that I've always been able to take care of myself for the time I've been in, as far as finances, taking care of my bills. When you first join the military, you have your first cell phone bill, maybe you
Right.
have a few, maybe I'll say home bills as far as electricity bills and things like that to help establish your credit. And
Right.
that's just an opportunity to mature and grow up and create those type of things. So yeah, I would say it definitely helped me to become financially stable. And so far, I've been able to purchase my own home out of it just from those memories.
Absolutely. And I know that you've been on 7 deployments, but our gyms don't know that you've been on 7 deployments. Let's kind of talk about those a little bit and let us know, what did you do? Were you able to save? Were you a spender? I know some of my gyms are spenders. And so we just want to know, what was it like for you? Because you weren't always an OSCS. Everybody had to start somewhere. So what was it like for you almost 19 years ago when you started out on that first deployment?
So I would say my first deployment, maybe two, maybe three.
Right.
I didn't manage responsibly when it came down to finances. I saved, but I didn't save as much as I could. You know, you go on deployments, you go over to these foreign countries that you've never been to. You get to go on all of these tours that the military provide. And
Right.
it's also times where you get to like go out in town and get you a hotel room for relaxation. So you tend to splurge a little bit more than you probably can afford starting off as an E1 or E1 to E4, I would say.
Right. And so your first, you said 1, 2, or 3 deployments. Where did you deploy to?
I've deployed to the Middle East, a lot of the Middle East, the UAE, Dubai, Bahrain. I've deployed to Thailand, Singapore,
So those were your
Jordan.
first 1 and 2 and 3 deployments?
I would say the second deployment. The first deployment, I was there right after 9/11 happened.
Gotcha.
So the second and third deployment, we were able to do a little bit more. And I went to every part of Australia. And I've also done the South America deployment.
Very, very nice. And I know because maybe a lot of our listeners and my gyms, as I call them, may not have the military background, specifically when it comes to the Navy. So when you say that, you went to the port and you were able to get a hotel and experience a little bit more of the CV, kind of walk us through what that's like. So you were on the ship for about how many days, and then you go into port, and then about how many days do you have to yourself to kind of explore, tour, or just relax?
So a lot of those, it just really depends on the operation commitment at the time.
Right.
And a lot of, most of the deployment is to complete a mission.
Right.
So you will be out to sea from anywhere from, back then,
right,
from 60 days to maybe 160 days.
Right.
And then you may pull into a port visit for 3 to 7 days, just depending on what needs to get done while you're in port. Because there we also refuel and we get stocks of food and everything to last us to the next time we pull into port. So around trying to get the job done in port, we also give a little bit of time to go and sightsee.
Get some R&R in there.
A little bit.
Some rest and relaxation, so I'm not throwing out these acronyms people may not be aware of. So that was your first 3 deployments. Walk us through those last ones, because you said that you had 7. So now we're right about the 4, 5, 6, and 7 deployments. So you're now probably achieved the rank of E5. And you're moving on up. So how did that financial freedom, or how did your budget begin to change? Because now you're making more money because you've been promoted a whole lot more, a whole lot more often. And you're also a leader. You're moving up in the ranks. So you're a mentor, you're professional, and people are now like looking to you for advice. So those next deployments, where did you go and what were those like?
So those next deployments were definitely, I would say I definitely thought more about my finances.
Right.
As well as just the responsibility of my career overall, because now I have more rank. I'm not only responsible for myself, I'm also responsible for my junior sailors, ensuring that they also have the resources they need to save money and do the things that they need to get done on deployment. In the midst of, we also were able to deploy to, then I would say that's when I hit most of the Australia port visits.
Nice. Uh-huh.
I've also most recently hit the South America port visits, which were Colombia, Rio de Janeiro, Chile, Peru, and also I think we did Cuba at the time too. We also did Cuba,
Right.
and it was pretty cool.
Nice.
But now, as a E8 or senior chief petty officer in the Navy, we go out and have fun on deployment, but we still are like the eyes and the ears of the city to see what's going on when our junior sailors are out there
Absolutely.
enjoying themselves and having fun.
Absolutely. Safety is always paramount. Nothing wrong with having a little bit of fun, and definitely making sure everyone gets back to the ship on time and in the same condition of which they left. Completely understand that. So do you feel like you are financially on track for retirement?
Yes, I will say I'm not 100% there, but I would say I'm 90% there for retirement, which is why I have 5 more years. But yes, I would say for sure, definitely on track for financial retirement.
Definitely on track. So I know this deployment sounded fun, and somewhere in there around, your maybe your fifth and sixth deployment, you begin to start saving. I know, especially in other branches, maybe the resources have changed between, your first year and now 19 years later. Has that been the same for you in the Navy, as far as having that financial ability to speak with someone on base concerning your budget, your finances, and just kind of tracking your path in the Navy?
Yes, I would say when I joined the Navy in 2001, we did have a financial specialist on board,
Nice.
but then we didn't have the social media or the
Right.
means to communicate via cell phone service. Or when I just joined the military, we just really got internet on board the ships.
Right.
So to be able to have that quick financial resource back then, it wasn't there. But now here we are, I would say 10, 15 years later, we have the financial resources, we have the way of communicating to get those financial resources.
Right.
They're really at our fingertips. So comparing myself to 2001 and to 2020, I would definitely say there is a big difference in what was provided then and now.
Absolutely. And that's overall just growth within the IT field, growth within the military. You talk about not having internet. I know some of our viewers are like, what is that like? What do you mean no internet? Google? Like, what do you mean? So being able to keep it together as you did, and not, splurge, your whole entire paychecks, even maybe not having that immediate touch with a financial advisor, is still a good thing. So you definitely have that growth of knowledge to give to your junior sailors. So do you feel like your financial goals are being met so far, the goals that you set for yourself?
I do. I think, most people think the more money you make, the more you have to spend. I'm the total opposite.
That's right.
The more money I make, the more I don't want to spend, or I feel like it's not really there.
Right.
Because I'm so close to retirement, or anyone that's within 5 to 10 years of retirement would think, okay, I may be making more money, but let me start putting this to the side. So I would definitely say that I'm tracking a budget. And I've been constantly tracking the budget for the last 10 years. So
good. Yes. And you hit a few things on that I love telling not only my clients, but to my gyms, that just because you make more money does not mean you have to spend more money. It means like you said, you can save more. You can establish different pots of money for savings now that you have increased sometimes that level of comfortability, because being financially stable gives you another level of comfort. We're not the same person we were at E1. We're like, I don't have enough money to do anything. So now you do have that level of stability and comfort to do that. So kudos to you, and for picking up on that. Like, hey, I'm making a little bit more money, but I'm financially responsible enough to not spend it all. And you did mention one thing in there when you said you were tracking a monthly budget. You said you've been tracking that for 10 years. Tell us a little bit more about that. Do you keep a spreadsheet? Is this something, I know there's a lot of online tools to do that, or do you just simply do it with a bank? Like, how do you keep track? Because believe it or not, a lot of people need some type of advice with this. And it's good to hear from someone else.
So yeah, so I've gone to the Command Financial Specialist School that the Navy offers, and they give you a lot of tools to assist your peers or your subordinates. So I felt like, well, why not use it for myself? So it actually is an Excel document. And I may not be 100% on track with like every single thing by the second, by the detail, but it's definitely keeping me on track as far as what my ultimate goals are for retirement. It's also keeping me on track to be able to pay my bills on time. And it's a pretty good Excel document that I use. It breaks down everything by the month, by the week, what you're spending, how much money goes towards this or how much money goes towards that.
Absolutely. That sounds like a great tracking device. And you mentioned having those retirement goals, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. So I want to get back to you and probably maybe some of your younger years in the Navy. So what was your first biggest financial splurge in the Navy? It's always different for everybody.
So my first financial splurge did not come when I first joined the Navy.
Okay.
I would say it was nothing memorable because, like I said back then, I was just, okay, I have money, let me spend it.
Right.
But for me, my first financial splurge was purchasing a home.
Yay.
I mean, that's as splurging as it can get.
Right, that is a big splurge. That's a huge splurge. Are you kidding?
Especially in San Diego, California.
Yes. I was just getting ready to ask, so you bought your first home in San Diego, California. What made you wait till to this duty station to purchase in California and say not like the last one, or then waiting till retirement to go ahead and purchase it? Why San Diego?
So, well, for tours, when you're transferring and you're going to so many different tours, I've actually been on the move. I lived in Chicago for 3 years. I also lived in Japan for 1.5 years. Right. So once I finally got stabled here in San Diego, where I knew I would live here, that's when I decided to go ahead and purchase a home, because the cost of living here is so expensive for rent. So you might as well just own a home if you can own a home for the same price.
Absolutely.
But I kind of wished I had purchased it way before now, but that goes with having those financial resources and having those mentors, people talking to you saying, hey, maybe you should think about investing, but it's never too late.
It's never too late, and you did it and you got it. Was it an easy process for you? Finding the home, did you go through a few no's until you found your dream home?
I did. I was told no a couple of times. I was outbidded. The housing market is not friendly all the time.
Very fierce, right.
But I can say when I walked into my home that I'm in now, I said, this is my home. Yes. I'm claiming it. And here I am 4 years later, and I'm still living here, and I love it more and more.
Yes. I asked that for a reason, because sometimes people think, when it's time to buy a home, that it is going to be easy, and it's often not that easy. You have, like you said, a lot of people bidding for the house. You have, you may find a house and then you might find out that it has a lot of issues with it. You're like, this is a money pit. I thought I loved it, now I don't. So that process can take you month to month to month. It's very rare that you meet someone that found the house, closed it, and did everything, even within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, so being able to fight through those no's and still know that there is a dream home out there for you, or a home that you can find, a house that you can find that is your home, that speaks to you. You knew it as soon as you walked in there. This is my home. I love it. So overall, do you think you're an impulse spender or more of a saver?
Oh, I would say it depends on the occasion.
Okay.
For a promotion, I'm going to always I wouldn't say it's an impulse buying, but I'm going to definitely put in a little bit more money on myself if I get promoted or something like that. But most of the time, I'm saving. I'm pretty cheap.
So you, for the most part, you sound like you're in control of your spending.
Yes.
And I get it, I want to let people know that when you do get a promotion, you do splurge a little bit more, but promotions are, depending on the branch of service, it could be anywhere between 2 to 3 years or 3 to 5. So I want you to know that she's not splurging like every 6 months or anything. So this is the longevity and treating yourself to those accomplishments and those promotions.
Exactly.
Yes, yes, yes. So do you plan on having or doing any purchasing, any big purchases in the future? Anything else major?
So my next purchase is going to be land.
Nice.
Because again, I'm preparing myself for retirement, and not just for myself, just to place some property or place a home there or a business there. I just think it's a good investment. I have something with my name on it, and I can use it for whatever I want to use it for in the future. Whether I want to build my retirement home there, or where I want to open up a business there, it's my choice because it's mine. And I think definitely having property should be someone's like top list of items to purchase for themselves.
Yes, and then with those pot of monies, have you been setting aside just a little bit of money, or to go ahead and purchase that land? And where do you think you might purchase that land in? Because I know property ranges are different in every state, and being able to save up for that, and if you already know where you want to be, I know that can help you out. So yes, what does that look like for you?
So being from Mississippi, my first choice is going to be purchasing land back home.
Okay.
We have a lot of land inherited in our family.
Nice.
So it's actually a lesson learned for me to inherit that land of my own as well, for my family in the future,
Yes.
So Mississippi is definitely a first choice. And of course, my retirement area is still dependent on my retirement area, whether I go to Texas and retire or whether I go to Georgia and retire. So that I'm doing my homework on.
Yes.
But for sure, I'm purchasing land in Mississippi. That's going to be my next big purchase.
Good stuff. And you hit on a few topics that I'm always aware of, building that generational wealth. So you say that you have the land in your family already, and it makes sense for you to go ahead and get the land for what you want your future, family to look like, and so that they'll know that they inherited that in wealth. So that, my dear gems, is what building future growth and wealth looks like within the family. It doesn't always mean that it's a dollar figure. It could be land. It could be homes. It's something that ties your name to the family and that you can give down from generation to generation. So kudos to you and your family for already starting and planting those seeds in you many, many, many years ago. So what is your greatest success in the Navy to date? Go Navy, go Navy.
So I've had so many accomplishments in the Navy over 19 years, but I would say the most rewarding accomplishment that I have had is becoming a chief petty officer back in 2016 is when I became a chief petty officer. So a lot of people, that's what their ultimate goal are. It's like, okay, you made chief, you've done your job in the Navy. If you made chief.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there are many people who retire as a first class, which would be an E6 in the Navy, and not a E7 and above, which is a chief and above in the Navy. So for me, accomplishing chief was very huge, especially when you've been told no so many times. You've been told you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people who have been told no and can't do it. And here I am today. Not only am I a chief, I'm a senior chief petty officer. So that's a big accomplishment for me.
Yes, and that means a lot, being not only a chief, but a senior chief petty officer in the Navy. I know that is a huge achievement and accomplishment, not only in the Navy, but mad respect to other services as well, because we know what you all go to for that service. Just to give a little bit of the gems, a little hint, when you get to those chief ranks, you actually go through an indoctrination, correct?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And I know we can't talk about the details, so I'll have to get with you offline about that, but approximately how long is that?
So when I went through it, it was close to 7 weeks long.
7 weeks long.
Yes. And I was deployed in the Middle East. So I wasn't home where I can come home and get a little R&R.
Right.
I was on a ship in the middle of the ocean in the Middle East getting my training.
Getting your training, and to let everybody know that this is the impact of what this is, because just as OSCS Jones has mentioned, not a lot of people get selected to this rank. So when you do, it is definitely a rite and a ritual to go through all of these processes of learning and education and your training and your speaking and anything else that they go through. And there's actually a ceremony afterwards. I was actually privileged to go to another friend's ceremony when they actually get the pin, the senior chief or the chief. Yes, to get that pin. And I want people to understand that's huge. And it's a ceremony, is super huge. So to have you say that and to know what you've been through is definitely a huge accomplishment. So kudos to you again. I know. So after your tour in the military is complete, you have successfully completed the next 5 years or so on years in the Navy. Where do you see yourself doing? What's the next chapter for you look like?
So I love mentoring.
Yes.
I just feel like that's one of my skills that I have is mentoring. And what I want to do when I retire is continue to do that. Yeah. But in the NJROTC,
no,
is what I plan on doing. And I've actually been following up on different, a lot of my mentors and a lot of people that have retired and actually teaches in NJROTC. I mean, you think about it, it's really easy. It's what I do now, except for preparing the younger kids who may need that guidance to help get them prepared for the armed forces.
I like it. So you guys are going to be seeing her, whether you're in the Navy or when your child is going to the high schools, it's not going to stop. Her level of mentorship and influence will still continue on with her. Definitely love it. We're going to do just a small transfer because we are in the month of November and this is Thanksgiving Day. So I love it. What are some positive incentives that you can think of to pass along to someone who is thinking about joining the Navy?
So the first thing, we all know it's the holidays. And a lot of people that are not in the military don't always have vacation time. The military, you get paid leave, 2.5 days a month. That is a huge incentive. Also, you get free education. How many people are still paying student loans?
Yes.
Well, I have 2 degrees and haven't paid anything for them.
Absolutely.
And medical and dental. Medical and dental is very free. Medical and dental.
Yes.
Free medical and dental.
Yes.
And think about that now in these times in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
Those are the top 3 that I can say. I can't think of anything else.
Those are, what do you mean? Those are 3 great topics, especially like you said, the free. Anytime I hear free, I'm like, bing, 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 bing. People should be getting that. The free that you have in the vacations, being in the middle of the pandemic, and hear a lot of people say, I just want a vacation. I want to be able to get out. And then a lot of people have been using a lot of their vacation time during this time, as well as their sick leave. Well, the military is kind of geared a little differently. So trust to believe those vacation days are coming up. Yes, yes, yes. And speaking of that rest and relaxation and vacation, what are you most thankful for in addition to having good health, family, and shelter?
I would say I'm most thankful for my career.
Yes.
Having a career, having that achievable career, 19 plus years in serving the armed forces, even having the opportunity to be able to serve. I don't take having a career for granted because it's so hard out there in these days and times for people to even figure out exactly what they want to do or how they're going to do it. But serving in the military, just having a career or something to fall back on, but that comes with financial stability.
Yes. Awesome. If you could give one non-financial present to anyone, what would it be and who would you give it to?
So, not to get personal, but I don't have kids, but my nephew is like my own.
Absolutely.
So when I think of a non-financial gift, like I said earlier, the next thing I wanted to purchase was land.
Yeah.
I want to make sure he gets some of that
Yeah.
because it goes back to my ancestors not having land,
Right.
fighting for land, and now having the ability to be able to purchase land of my own
Right.
and share that. I would say my nephew would definitely get a couple of acres from his auntie.
He's like, thank you, Auntie. I appreciate that. And that's a wonderful gift to give someone, like I said, building that generational wealth and giving him, the next generation the opportunity to have a piece of land and do what he likes with it. So pretty sure you get kudos for being a good auntie on that one. So before the end of the year, what is one act of generosity that you plan on doing?
So an act of generosity, Thanksgiving is coming around and Veterans Day is always the week prior to for the most part. And what I have coming up actually next week, I have a couple of good friends that served in the military. They were separated for different reasons, medical reasons, and some they just actually decided to try something different.
Okay.
But I always treat them to a Veterans Day outing where we go and we just go get the 50% off meals at the restaurants and things like that. So that's one of my upcoming things that I plan on doing next week during Veterans Day. Is taking a couple of friends out, showing them my appreciation. Thank you for paving the way for women like me.
Yes.
And yeah.
I like that. Friendship, togetherness, and food. It doesn't get any better than that. It sounds like a wonderful thing already. And to wrap things up, I always like some of my guests to provide an inspirational quote. This is an inspirational quote I would like for you to share with us and let us know the meaning behind it. Why did you pick it? And just what inspired you to give that to us? So what is your quote?
My inspirational quote that I always use, and this is actually the signature on my email.
Okay.
It is, do not be poor. P.O.O.R. Poor. I refuse to pass over opportunities repeatedly. Meaning if you have an opportunity to do something nice, or I have an opportunity to be kind, have an opportunity to accomplish something that you've always set that goal in doing,
yes,
do it. If the resources are there in front of you, take the opportunity of those resources, see what you can learn and see what you can gain from it. And I always tell my sailors or whether it's my proteges at work, if you have an opportunity to make a difference, don't pass it up.
Yes.
Don't be one of those people. And it doesn't have to mean that you're taking credit for it. It's just, for yourself at the end of the day, you did something to make the world better or make your work environment better.
Absolutely.
So don't be poor. Don't pass over opportunities repeatedly, people.
Do not pass over opportunities repeatedly. Love that, love that, love that, love that. One of the best inspirational quotes. I'm sure it will ring true to a lot of our listeners. OSCS Jones, thank you again for having you on my show. I definitely appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, Gems. So creating healthy financial habits is a lifelong journey. Remember, without change, there'd be no butterflies. I absolutely love that. Changing habits, changing lives, and changing futures are all up to you. Until next time, Gems, take care.
And what else? That's it. I'm an asshole. It's got to be more to it.
There always is more behind the story. I mean, you can't just come out and just say you're an asshole without giving a reason why, because there's always two sides to the story. Like maybe you don't think you're an asshole.